Hey everyone, so before I say anything, it's going to be a loaded video. I'm just going to say that I'm doing this video for a very specific reason. Some of you may have noticed, but there's been a recent surge in people being interested in my past and digging up old pictures, old videos, old things. There's been a bunch of Blaire White exposed videos. There's been Blaire White isn't really trans videos. There's been yes, she is trans and here's pictures to prove it videos. And some of these pictures are not even of me. And it's just gotten to be a big mess. I'm a bit nervous to do this video because I think my library of work here on YouTube kind of speaks for itself. I don't really make videos about myself. I make videos and I try to keep them about larger topics, political, social issues. And this is new for me, so don't expect my channel to go into some like wildly personal direction. But I think that I've actually contributed to sort of the rabidness of people trying to dig up my past by not being very personal on here. I guess it can come across as a bit robotic. Every video I upload is, here's my thoughts on feminism, here's my thoughts on Trump, here's my thoughts on this, social issue. I don't really talk about myself a lot, and I think there's a gray area that people want to fill in, especially with me being trans. My intention with this video is just to be personal and candid with you guys, and I'm probably going to regret it, but here we go. So first, let's respond to a little bit of this video. Blaire White exposed. She's not really trans.
The person you are looking at is Blaire White, a conservative YouTuber who claims to be a trans woman. I've been following Blaire White on YouTube and Instagram and Snapchat, and I'm starting to believe that she's not really a trans woman. Her hips are almost, in fact, I think they're the same width as her shoulders, and that's typical female proportions for you. Blaire White also doesn't have an Adam's apple. Blaire White's hairline doesn't really go back as far as the average man's does. She has more of like a sort of U-shaped hairline like a woman.
Okay, so this video analyzes like every inch of my body, every curvature of my body to try to prove that I'm biologically female. Flattered, truly. I mean, come on, if your argument is that I have hips and I have boobs and I'm not balding, that I must be faking trans, what that actually means, buddy, is that I transitioned decently. Doesn't mean I'm faking it.
So my conclusion is that Blaire White is a cis woman calling herself trans for the sake of attention. She is a conservative vlogger looking for minority points. I have zero respect for Blaire White.
I see this one all the time, people saying that I must be a biological woman pretending to be trans and trying to just make a joke out of trans people. It's like, is it really that hard to believe that I'm trans and I hold a few conservative opinions? The idea that one's worldview or opinions are contingent upon arbitrary or immutable attributes is something I argue against. Saying that it's impossible for me to be trans and hold some conservative views, it's kind of like saying you can't be black and a Republican. It doesn't make any sense. People are individuals. And now that we put it off, let's move on to me exposing my damn self. Fuck. So let's start at the beginning. This picture, whew, it's like really weird to look at for me. I was probably in first or second grade, looks like it. And yeah, that was me as a little person. And I know people are going to ask if I felt transgender back then at this point in my life when this picture was taken. It's a little bit complicated. I would have never put it in the word transgender back then. I do remember feeling very odd at that age. I felt like there was something different about me, something that no one else around me could relate to. I felt extremely feminine to be a boy. So developmentally, it was a very weird point in my life because I had just started at that age coming to see the differences between men and women and feeling like I didn't really fit in the male category, if that makes sense. But I was by no means miserable. That came later. Here's one of me being a little shithead and giving someone bunny ears. Some things have not changed, folks. Okay, so let's jump ahead to when I was 14. Okay. That was me at 14. Okay, this is probably way more strange for me to look at than anyone else, but at this age, I was going through puberty, and so if things were weird for me when I was in second grade, things were definitely weird for me during puberty. What's going on? I wasn't ready to transition at this age. And I know that's my story and that's my situation, but I still stand by my opinion that people should not transition when they are this age. You're not ready to make life decisions. When I look at this kid, this kid was super lost and confused in so many ways, as we all are at that age, and I could have never made a permanent life decision such as to transition. Just wouldn't have worked out. So yeah, there's me at 14. Let's keep chugging along. Okay, so for this next one, feel free to make as many jokes as you want in the comments because it's bad. But this was me at 16. Okay, this is me at 16. I was experimenting with hair and makeup. I had about every hair color under the sun at this age. I had purple, pink, blue, red. I think I had purple and pink at the same time. And the pink blush, it just matches my hair entirely. I can't just say it. I look like an SJW in this picture. And you know what's crazy is I kind of used to think like them at this age as well. Someone needs to do some kind of research into the effects of hair dye on the brain, because it cannot be a coincidence that everyone with pink hair has the same fucking political views. Okay, so age 18, 2 years later, here's me. At this point in my life, I knew I wanted to transition. I was like, this is what I have to do. It's just going to be my life. And you can kind of see, even though I look so different and my face looks so different, you can kind of see my look like starting to form. And it actually took me 2 years after this picture was taken to get on hormones and begin on that path, because shortly after this picture was taken, my dad died of cancer unexpectedly. And kind of all of my plans, even career-wise, transition-wise, everything got put on the back burner to kind of take care of my mom. And it sucked because it was still always at the back of my mind and I was really unhappy, but it was like, how do you tell your mom after her husband passes away, get ready to lose your son too because he's gonna live as a woman? It's like, it wasn't easy to do, and it took me 2 years. But I did eventually tell her and the rest of my family, and everyone was very supportive, and I did start on my journey. So I hope this video has answered some questions. I hope that we've kind of satisfied a little bit of curiosity. For those of you who think that maybe this video was a bit pointless, just try to put yourself in my shoes a little bit. If you had videos being made by strangers about your past, some of them getting tens of thousands of views, you would want to jump in and tell your own story as it was. And I appreciate everyone who's understanding of this brief personal moment, and I promise that we will be back to our regularly scheduled programming soon. But until then, love you.